I would tell people, if you bring me 2 bags of hair, I'll make it happen. No matter what you look like. I don't care if you're bald. I don't care if you have a little hair or you have a lot. I can put extensions on, or I can do bald women and make their hair look like it's theirs. So from that, the business grew so big that I had to move out of the garage because the neighbors were like, you have cars parked up
down the block,
up and down the block. You've got to get out of here.
Welcome to another episode of Women Worldwide. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are in this world. We're so glad to have you here. And from myself and the Women Worldwide team, we hope you're healthy and you're staying safe. And we're so grateful for the technology that keeps us connected. You're letting us know how you're doing and what's going on in your world. And as you do this and you share your challenges, we continue to deliver the guests who share their stories and advice to help you. So with that said, let's get to today's topic and special guest. The topic is learning the greatest of life's lessons through a tumultuous journey. My guest today is no stranger to tackling really tough obstacles in her life. And as she did this, she channeled her energy to encourage love and kindness and uplifted others, using her special gifts to restore and bring women back to their beauty and their glory. Joining me on the show is Helen Owens. Helen is the founder of Her Secret Hair. She's also an author, an educator, and a speaker. Helen, it's so great to have you with me. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's great to be here. How are you today?
Well, thank you for asking. So doing really well. I mean, considering the circumstances with everything that's going on, it is, as we were talking about before, surreal, the things that we're witnessing. Yes. It really is. So
yes,
I would love to jump into the conversation just to have you share with us how you set out on your path to find your greatest purpose as you tackled all of these obstacles in your life.
Well, I have a very interesting story. You know, I started off with my life growing up in a place in San Francisco called Hunters Point, and around the world, Hunters Point is known as a ghetto. I have 6 other siblings, and we all grew up there. The most interesting thing is that early on in my life, I met a lady who was we would say the mother of the neighborhood. We had people who, when I grew up, people would look over all the kids, and her name was Granny. We knew her as Granny. And so what happened was I woke up one day and found that I had alopecia, which I didn't know what alopecia really was. We were pretty poor and wasn't able to really, I figured that out much later, but we'll go back to that. So in my journey, I was a 11-year-old little girl losing my hair in big bald patches, and was sitting on my porch one day, trying to make a long story short, and a hand came over my shoulder, and it was Granny. And she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Granny, I'm losing my hair and I believe I'm dying." And she said, "Well, you're for sure not dying." She said, "I want you to, after you get out of school, I want you to come to my house because Granny needs to show you something." She comforted me, and I was crying. I didn't want to go to school. Thought I was dying because I was losing my hair. It was very embarrassing, and I was being bullied in school. So after that, Granny, when I got out of school that day, Granny started talking to me about hair. And she said, "Let me tell you about hair and how important it is. And how unimportant it really is to the grand scheme of things, but you're a child. So I know that this is really hard for you. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm 11 years old. You're telling me this is not important. This is important. I'm going bald. So she brought a book out. She opened up a book, and in that book, she had all these beautiful women, all these different movie stars. And I said, wow, what do these women have in common with me? They're all so beautiful and they have all this gorgeous hair. And Granny said, I need to tell you something. All the hair in this book that you're looking at, none of these women, this is their real hair. And I said, what do you mean? She said, Granny makes wigs, and I've been doing this for a long time. And she said, Granny's going to teach you how to cover your bald spots, and you're going to have better hair than everybody. So don't worry about it. She said, I want you to, yeah, isn't that something? She said, I want you to come over every day after school, after you've done your homework. And I want you to come over, and I'm going to show you how to make wigs. And we're going to make some great wigs for your head. And no one's ever going to know you really have bald spots, and you won't be teased in school anymore. So I started going over every day after school, and Granny was teaching me how to make wigs. Now, my dad by trade is an artist. Now, my dad died when I was about 10 and a half years old. So I didn't really know that I had the art in my hands like I did. And Granny started to say to me, geez, you're outdoing me. You're making things. I started making little patches to fill in all the bald spots in my head. And she said, how did you come up with this? And this is what I found out. My mom never told me that alopecia ran in the family and that she had alopecia. So I found out and discovered that my mom had a box of wigs. So I started cutting up the wigs that she had and patching in the patches where I was bald. And boy, I tell you, it for me, it just took off like a wildfire. I knew exactly what I wanted to do in my life. I said, you know what? I'm going to make wigs for people who have hair loss. And this was at 11 years old. I said, this is going to be my purpose. This is going to be the thing that I want to do, because I felt as a child and going through that horrible time that I didn't want another kid to have to go through that. So I wanted to help people make hair that made them look good. And so from that point, now here's the story. I'm growing up. I'm 16 and I'm pregnant. So I'm jumping. I'm pregnant with my first child at 16 years old. And then I become pregnant again at 17 years old. Now, keep in mind, I'm dyslexic. So in school, I'm being told, not only am I bullied, but I'm being told that I'm stupid. Oh, that I'm that I was dumb, that I was stupid and didn't know how to learn, because the teachers back then didn't really understand. Right. No, they didn't. No, I wasn't applying myself. You're not applying yourself. You can do this, but you're not applying. Yep. Yeah, you're not trying hard enough. But of course, we know since then that children are dyslexic. They have problems. They have all kinds of learning disabilities. But back then it wasn't, you're not trying hard enough. So I got very frustrated. And in about the 9th grade, I dropped out of school. Now, keep in mind, I'm a bald girl. I have 2 children, and I did get married at 17. I have 2 children. I'm bald, and I've dropped out of school. So what I did then is I took my little wig making business, and by the time I was 17, I lived in a place called Daly City, California, right outside of San Francisco. And I had my own place. I had moved out of my mom's house with my 2 kids and my husband. I had my own place. So I started making wigs, and then I started trying to promote myself, because I was cleaning houses to get through cosmetology school. So once I cleaned houses, I paid myself through cosmetology school, I graduated. And then I started doing hair out of my garage first. I would tell people, if you bring me 2 bags of hair, I'll make it happen. No matter what you look like. I don't care if you're bald. I don't care if you have a little hair or you have a lot. I can put extensions on, or I can do bald women and make their hair look like it's theirs. So from that, the business grew so big that I had to move out of the garage, because the neighbors were like, you have cars parked up
down the block.
up and down the block. You've got to get out of here. So
Wow.
so I took the business and I got one chair, one chair. And people started hearing about me. And this is back then when the old adage was build it and they would come. I didn't really, it was word of mouth. It was people saying there's this girl, man, look at me. I mean, look what she did for me. I'm bald and I didn't know where to go. I didn't know that this could even happen. I don't know what this girl does. So I started looking at every woman and every girl like DNA. My favorite thing to say was we all had different DNA and we all had a different problem. Whether two problems looked alike, no two women were the same. And I didn't ever solve one problem the same way. Like on some of my clients, I would put 3 to 4 different methods because I seen 3 to 4 different problems. Now, here's something I didn't understand. I didn't understand what I was getting into because I thought I was just treating women who had hair loss. But I found out that I was treating women who not only had hair loss, but women who had lupus, women who were going through cancer, women who had thyroid problems, women who had trichotillomania, which can compulsive hair pulling disorders. So when I started to really connect with my clients and they started to tell me their personal stories of what they were going through, of how sick they were. And I said to myself, gee, I thought I was just getting into doing hair for people with hair loss. I didn't know that I was going to be getting in touch with my own mortality, that people were very sick and that women really needed more than just a hairdo. And so I started understanding that my purpose in having alopecia when I was 11 years old was bigger than I've ever thought it would ever be. It was bigger than me because I was helping women. My alopecia became something that I became proud of. I started calling it my superhero. I was like, well, hey, I have alopecia, but it's my superhero because with alopecia, it's autoimmune deficiency and you're not sick. You're just losing your hair, but you're not sick. But when I started seeing women with lupus, which lupus is considered the lion, it attacks your immune system horribly. And then I started losing clients to their illnesses. And it was devastating for me because people would come in and say, I'm a 3-time breast cancer survivor and I'm here. And I was like, wow, what have I gotten myself into? But I was the right person for the job because
Absolutely. Talk about finding your gift at such a young age, knowing that, thinking it's one thing and it's so much bigger than you. And then all of the healing and the way that you can restore and help people. That's truly just, that is something, a journey, you learning life lessons, tackling your obstacles while helping others.
Yes.
You're an inspiration.
It was beautiful because to this day, I am so proud and so happy and so connected with my women. And that's where finding her she cup is born out of, because I had so many conversations from the chair. It was like we were loving on each other and embracing each other. I knew families. I had husbands who would bring their wives in and say, thank you. I had children who would send me flowers and say, you saved my mother. It was so warming.
Goes beyond the woman herself, the she compass, even though it's a sisterhood and finding your own GPS, it's also guidance for everybody who's around you as well.
Yes, everybody. And it made connections I was able to help women from other women's experiences. To this day, I have a list of clients that other clients can call on with similar things that they're going through to say, sister, I need your help. I'm about to go through this journey and I need to know what you did. How can you help another person? So it became so much bigger than hair. Hair was like the secondary thing for me. And the love I was giving and receiving from people for what I was doing became bigger than I've ever imagined. And it's just been like a total blessing. And the women that I've encountered and the women that have come through my door and the people that I've experienced in my life, from women who didn't have a lot to women who have so much. But then I learned that having so much is in here. It's
Right.
not out there, because we talk about money and monetary value and what we're going through today, right?
Yeah.
And we're learning by being at home or sheltered in place that we're learning who we really are. And I always tell people the best thing you can get out of this is getting in touch with yourself and learning who you are and what you
Yes.
really have to give to the world.
That's so true. Staying at home, sheltering in place, it's probably one of the best times for self-discovery. And Helen, I'm going to ask you to hold your thoughts just for a moment. We're going to shift our focus over to the sponsor of today's episode, which is Routledge Publishing. And I don't know if you know Routledge, but they're actually one of the leading global publishers of academic textbooks and business journals. And they are the publisher of my textbook, Answers for Modern Communicators. And Helen, in the book, I answer over 150 questions all about public relations, and social media, and building relationships. And I thought it would be fun if you could answer a question in the book. Okay, cool. Okay. So your question is question number 153. Can you work hard, help others, and still focus on personal goals? Boy, this is a good one for you.
I think you can work hard and you can help others and still focus on your personal goals by knowing who you are. When you know who you are, you can put every one of those things in perspective and in line, but you have to know you first.
Oh, I love that answer. Thank you for answering the question. And thanks to Routledge for sponsoring this episode of Women Worldwide. Okay, let's dive back into our discussion. So you were talking about She Compass. I know that you wrote a book, Finding Our She Compass. And with everything that's going on right now, which is really hard because so many things have changed, whether you are a woman who is working at home, or you're just recently in the workforce and now you have to work at home, or you're a mother, whatever you're doing, how can that She Compass kind of help you as you're tackling new obstacles?
Well, the book was written on 15 life lessons from the chair that I experienced with 15 different women, which I chose, their experience in helping them navigate through their journeys in their lives. I think that now that we are sheltered in place, every woman should find her She Compass, because it's so important to know how to treat other people better. And I say women because that's been my life journey, but people in general. Right. We should learn now. This is a perfect opportunity to learn now that what we do contributes to this world in such a big way. Right. We all make the difference. Every little bit. You can never say, oh, I'm just one person and I can't make a difference, because you can. And when you're kind and you love, that's what's getting us through now. Right. Loving, and we're missing each other. When you can smile at somebody and they can't smile back, now you miss that smile. You're missing that smile. We're all masked now. So when someone's looking at you, you're wondering, are they smiling at me? Because I'm smiling at them, and I wish they could see my great, big, beautiful smile. And we all have to learn that love conquers everything. And that's what's going to get us through this. We're going to a cure, of course, but the cure is that the more that we can love each other and see each other as equals, that we love women, that love on your women. Men, love on your men, love on your women, and women love on the men and the children and all of us. We just need to really, this is something that I've been teaching for a long time, is that love will make everything better. Love heals all. So while we're at home, that gives us something to think about.
Because it's contagious. I mean,
it is.
Like any emotion, you have a choice. So fear and anxiety and negative lower emotions, yes, they are contagious. But if you choose happy and love and joy and kindness, that too can spread.
When we have to spread it, we have to spread that like a wildfire, because people are really going through it. They're losing their loved ones.
Yes.
I know a lot of people aren't sleeping. A lot of people are worried about their own mortality now, and they're being faced. When you have to look into the eyes of women who you've loved through your journey, and you know you're going to lose some of them, I can't tell you what that does. We're being faced now with not only our own mortality, but looking out at the world and seeing what's going on. We have to do better. We have to love harder. We have to, when this new norm, whatever this new norm is, however it lasts, or even if it lasts forever, you're going to miss someone's hug right now. A hug is important. I've been hugging all my life. Every client that comes through my door, I hug them and I love on them. And when I see people out, I'm a hugger. I would say, can I give you a hug? You just look like you need a hug today. And they would be like, oh, sure. Yeah, please hug me. You don't know what that just done for me. So now I miss that the most.
Right.
But I know that even through a Zoom or however we're doing things now, we can still love on one another. And we need it more than anything. We need it more than anything to just let each other know, I love you. I'm thinking about you. Be there for one another.
Yeah, I just wish that, it wouldn't take a global pandemic to be so grateful for all the things that you have in your life, even something as simple as a hug or the smile that you long for, or, some of us, it could just be a literal pat on the back, or maybe you really enjoy that handshake, whatever it is. When that is taken away, it looks a lot different. I guess it just makes you appreciate so much more what is around you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it really does. And I think kindness is just, you just have to learn how to be kinder. And it's for some people, it's a learning thing. And it just depends on how we all grew up. I've spoken to people that have grown up it's so bad that it's hard. But we who have it can teach others. We can teach others. It's our responsibility to teach someone who may not know. Not to say, oh, that person is mean or that person. Teach that person. Trust me, they want to learn. Yeah. I can tell you from doing this now for 40 years, those two babies we talked about, one's 42 and one's 40. I've been doing this a long time. And it is contagious. And the people that you don't think that can really learn love, if you show them, they know how to give it back. Yeah, and that's like the biggest thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to be.
So do you have any, you mentioned a lot of really tough challenges early on in life.
Yes.
Do you still have challenges today? And do you look at them differently? Do you just, because you've found your compass? What is it? How do you see a challenge today? What's the difference?
What's a challenge look like today for me? Let's see. That's a good question. I think that we all are always challenged at any given time. I think that there can always be someone who's a challenge, because once you think you've seen it all, you've never really seen it all.
Exactly.
I've seen it all. And then you go, oh no, this right, pandemic. So I think that now the way I miss my clients, because I can't touch them, I can't love them, I can't hug on them, but they call me all the time. They're getting in touch with me all the time. I get on Skype. I help them with their hair, like the things that I used to have to do. Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah. And so I teach them how to put it on, because I say it's going to be a while, and they kind of cry through it like, oh, I can't do it. Yes, you can. You can do it.
They learn on
their own. Yeah. So that's my new challenge. My new challenge is teaching people from where I am. We can't touch each other. We can't hug each other. And I can't tell you how many breakdowns I've had from people who just see my face and they go, oh God, you just don't know how much I miss seeing your face sitting in your chair. I love you so much. You give me so much. And I'm like their good vibe. I have a client that sent a pocket Helen to me. She called it the pocket Helen. She said, everyone needs one of these. And She made it out of a
A little bit of
crochet.
Helen in their pocket.
Yeah, a little cute Helen. She said, we're going to carry you around in our pocket. And every time we look at you, then we're going to know things are better. So when you've lived a life that it has been good to me in every way, I've been able to survive. I've been able to live. I've been able to raise my 2 kids.
And to thrive.
And to thrive, yes. I mean, I don't even think that at the time doing this is very lucrative as well for me, but that was never the important part. The important part was I did it because I wanted to help people.
Right.
I never really thought about the money. I thought about the people. And I think that anything you do, you must first think about others and how you can help others if you can. And I think that's so important. And it makes you feel good. And then it makes you understand who you are and what you mean to this world, and that you have changed this world and put your touch on it in some way. And I think that's so important for us, especially now.
Absolutely. Well, I was just going to ask you one round out question for this discussion. You've already given so much advice, but if there's just one thing that you want to share with Women Worldwide listeners, just a piece of advice for them as they navigate this new normal or whatever this new normal will be, what do you want to share with them?
I would say that the world is looking very glim right now. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of the jobs that we're doing, we don't even know if we're going to be able to go back to them, or especially me, because it's very personal. When I'm doing hair, that's a very personal thing, and you're up close and personal. So that's going to be something that I think that needs to change in a big way, and that's scary for me. But I'm going to say this: whether you're a college student who's coming out of school, whether you're a high school student who's graduating and going on, there's one thing you have to hold on to. It's called hope. Mm-hmm. Your hopes and your dreams. If this is the new norm, then that means that we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out how we have to live differently and still do what we love and still do what helps people. We're going to figure it out, because we always do. Don't give up hope. Don't feel as though the world is hopeless right now, because it's not. We will all be together again. We will all hug one another again. We will all, I guarantee it. I know it. I know we will. And so until we do, please keep your dreams alive, your hopes alive, and love on as many people as you can. And don't fall into a depression, because it's really easy. Don't fall into a place that's dark. That's too easy to do. Do the hard thing. Figure it out. Hope. Love on somebody. It will change your life. I guarantee you.
Hope, love, dreams. Helen, that was awesome. Awesome advice. Just one last quick question. Where can people find out more about you and your work and all that you're doing?
Okay. So you can email me at Helen's Hair Secrets. I'm on Instagram at Helen Owens. I'm on Twitter at Helen Hair Secret. And the website is Her Secret Hair Extensions. And then shecompass.com. Boy, I always, did I get that right?
Got that?
Did I get the email right?
Email is Gmail.
Oh, Gmail. I'm sorry, .com. For my email. Okay, so that's Her Secret Extensions at gmail.com. Is that right?
Awesome.
At gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got it wrong again. See, that's that dyslexic in me with this. No. Okay, so is it the She Compass?
Go to the very top.
Oh, the very top. Okay, the email. Okay, Helen's Hair Secrets at gmail.com. That's the only one I got wrong.
Well, everything else got it right now, and thank you, Joe.
I know. That's my backup. That's my backup right there. Couldn't live without her.
Thank you. Well, Helen, it was so great to have you on the show. We appreciate everything you're doing. You're an inspiration. Keep the love, loving on everybody, and someday I get to hug you in person.
I know. I want to hug you so bad. I mean, you're a beautiful woman, the inside out.
Thank you so much. Well, so are you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning into Women Worldwide. Thank you so much for helping to share the shows, the journeys of amazing guests like Helen, who are giving with their hearts and their minds and their advice to help you. So keep the feedback coming. Be sure to tweet me. I'm at Dee Breckenridge. And also you can email me too. I'm Deirdre at pureperformancecom with 2Ms.com. Okay, everyone, until our next episode, stay healthy, focused, energized, and feeling empowered. Thank you.